Oh, probably mean like an Uma Musume. Yeah. I don't even know what that means, but as long as they're having a good time. Yeah, you'll probably be fine. Mm. Mm. That sounds generally positive. Mm. Mm. That was pretty kind of you to just be like, actually contact his care team and stuff like that. Instead of just being like, fuck you, old man, and block him forever. Honestly, I might. Or just straight up told my dad to contact his old people, but you're being much nicer than I would have. And it seems like it turned out very nice, so it turned out pretty good. So I think that is very kind of you and caring. Mm-hmm. Uh-uh. Hmm. Okay. I think I get what you mean. Something that is very specific to the gameplay, sounds like. Hmm. Nah. Yeah, it sucks that he was acting, like, just the same as always, apparently. Yeah, it makes sense to be stressed out when someone's acting the way they did that stressed you out before, so, like, I don't think you were wrong. hell did I make hands the same size? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I wonder if I could just, like... I gotta, like, take a picture with my phone real quick of my own hand in this position, because I'm having a hard time figuring out these hand poses. It sure does look weird. Okay. Forget I have these on my phone later and be like, what? Hold on. Oh. Uh-huh. Okay. Can't bring back proper borders on windows, god damn it.
Welcome to the Daily Show. I'm Desi Leidig. We've got so much to talk about tonight. Iran has a new secret weapon. Trump finds a way to make Canadians angry. And Olive Garden is now the world's most secure place to eat. Sorry, Rainforest Cafe at Rikers. So let's get into the headlines. This weekend was the big World Cup final, and I'd like
Looking
to
at these pictures, like, is my neck really that fucking scrawny?
España,
Jesus
as we
Christ.
called it during
I
my
hope it's just the
semester
angle.
overseas. It marks the end of a wonderful month of soccer co-hosted by the United States, Canada, and Mexico.
No.
And in a beautiful moment of unity, Trump watched the game alongside the leader of Canada, ushering in a new
Secure
era
our borders, and by that I mean bring back the ones that were like these ones that CSB has, where they're like kind of thick and you can actually grab them and move them around.
50% tariff on certain Canadian goods.
Oh, mother again with Canada? I thought we were going to work this out. Okay, now what are we taxing ourselves to punish Canada for?
Everything from Canadian wood and paper and furniture to things like hockey sticks and dairy products.
No hockey sticks? What's my husband going to keep jammed in the corner of the garage for the past 15 years? Now, obviously, it's very frustrating to be back in this trade war again, but if you're worried that this is another case of Trump abusing his power, relax. These tariffs are legal under the Smoot-Hawley Act, which has been around since 1930 when it helped prolong and worsen the Great Depression. So, cheer up. This sudden anger with Canada coming from? What's this all about?
President Trump is blasting Canada for, quote, willful negligence in its forest management, calling the pollution an unhealthy invasion. Trump went on to threaten Canada with more tariffs due to the wildfire smoke.
Oh, bro, you're gonna go to a rainforest cafe? That's awesome. I've never been to one. I think I've been to one once. I was like a little kid somewhere, but
are you sure you want America to set a precedent for paying for pollution? I feel like your pals at Pesticide, Microplastic, Death, Diarrhea, Lettuce, Inc. might have other ideas. I will say the one interesting thing about the wildfires was seeing Trump almost come to a realization.
We got to stop the fires up there. I've never remembered this happening. Over the last 4 or 5 years, you saw it starting to take place.
Go on. You're getting warmer, catastrophically warmer. I love how he's discovering climate change while standing next to his idling jet. Something is causing this, and we have got to get to the bottom of it. Keep the engine running, guys, all of them. I haven't decided which plane I'm taking. But let's move on from Trump's war on Canada to his war on personally losing elections. Look, I know a lot of liberals out there think election fraud isn't a problem, but I assure you it's just as much a threat to the United States as Canada. And that's why last week, Trump gave a primetime address from the White House to offer his solution to fix our elections.
Congress must pass the Save America Act. This landmark bill requires that all voters must show
the fucking Voter Suppression Act.
ID. How simple is that? Could I have your photo, please? Photo, voter ID.
Even he sounds exhausted by his own election bullshit. Hey, once you turn 80, it is harder to maintain an insurrection. Happens to a lot of guys.
But I'm not putting that in the right place at all.
Now, if you didn't watch this speech, Trump unveiled a devastating set of documents that conclusively prove the 2020 election was stolen in a deep state conspiracy. I'm just with you. He released a bunch of documents that were old news and didn't prove jack shit, and at one point, he even started to glitch.
In light of the brand new and irrefutable information I have revealed tonight, my administration is in the process of notifying the states.
It's what I'm always saying. You got to trust the process. Trust it. Now, normally after Trump gives a speech, all his fans at Fox News amplify his message and repeat his lies verbatim. There's just one problem.
I forgot about that because I forgot most things about Once Upon a Time.
Went the last time?
Fox agreeing to pay
show is
Dominion
goddamn
more than
ridiculous.
$787 million over the network's unsupported claims that the 2020 presidential election was rigged.
Fox does not want to pay another $787 million. They need that money for settling sexual harassment lawsuits. Sean Hannity, you're live after Trump's speech. Let's see you try to cover this story without tripping over $787 million.
President Donald J. Trump from the East Room at the White House. He had a lot to say tonight. Now, the president, if you go to whitehouse.gov, has now releasing what he believes is all the corroboration that you would ever need. What is pretty remarkable, what he says are in these documents. I'm sure that anybody that cares about truth will want to do a deep dive into all of this.
what he said was, so it was a little, you know what, let's move on to a bigger story. Why does Mamdani want to convert Jimothy the raccoon to Islam? So now MAGA Republicans are in a tough spot. If Trump's speech didn't move the needle, they need to find another way to rally support for it. They need to come with irrefutable evidence that is necessary. They need to take this seriously.
24 states already require photo ID to be presented prior to voting.
I don't know that.
Heck, you even need to present a photo ID to utilize the Olive Garden's never-ending pasta pass.
Okay.
Her delivery
or we
there.
could compare our
Just
election
the
system to Olive Garden.
Tiredness in
Sure,
her
let's
voice.
try that. And by the way, for those of you who don't know, the Olive Garden never-ending pasta pass is a real thing. And of course you have to show a photo ID to use it. In fact, my first fake ID was actually a never-ending pasta pass. I'll never forget freshman year when I got marinara poisoning. Had to get my stomach pumped. Before you ask, yes, I checked the box to be a pasta donor. That way, God forbid, if something happens to me, a guy who needs a new kidney gets my pasta. But yeah, Virginia Fox is saying Olive Garden has tighter security than the voting booth. And that's such a ridiculous analogy that everyone on the right is using it.
So you need an ID to get all you can eat
It's pretty
pasta at
funny.
Olive Garden. You want to go vote?
For God's sake, you can't go get pasta at Olive Garden without a picture ID.
The way she said it was, you can't even get pasta at all.
In our republic, right? You have to show up with a photo ID to prove it's actually you to eat their pasta. My goodness.
The fact that eating pasta requires an actual ID before voting in this country is pretty ridiculous.
Shout out to Olive Garden.
Shout out to Olive Garden? You're not even talking about election fraud anymore. You're just ordering lunch. Here's the thing. Olive Garden and elections are completely different things. Voting is a sacred right that can't be restricted just because Donald Trump wants photo ID. But Olive Garden needs a photo ID for their pasta pass because their mail-in pasta was a total mess. Not falling for that again. But beyond that, your analogy is taking over your argument. You want people to be thinking about election fraud, not the restaurant where your parents tell you that they're getting a divorce. When you're here, you're family. But when we get home, you have to choose.
I didn't hear about that. They tried to appeal to 5-year-olds. Broccoli's delicious anyway.
Please, just stop making this about Olive Garden.
Maybe we just need to change the name of the bill to the Olive Garden law.
You know what? It. Fine. Let's pass the Olive Garden law, followed by the Red Lobster War on Greenland Act and the Chili's baby back abortion ban. So that is the current state of Trump's war on voting rights. In the span of a week, he went from an urgent primetime address to watching his base obsess over a Tuscan-themed casual dining chain. It didn't work out for him this time, but the next one might, because at the end of the day, his lies are like spaghetti. Throw it at the wall and hope it sticks. And I think I speak...
Oh no. That's... kind of like...
And I think I
how...
speak for all of us when I say, shout out to Olive Garden.
Is that the last video? If there's multiple videos anyone wants to send, it'd be nice if I could just like play them all at once so I know if I can go back to like full screen or not. That radio station isn't Christian then, if they're against healthcare. They're straight up do not follow the actual teachings of Jesus Christ if they are anti-healthcare. Okay. Put these into tabs. Apparently at the local Target today, there was a whole bunch of the Descendants dolls on sale for like $5 each, and they're usually like 30. And Skelebi was wondering if it was because they're doing that, like, where they try to copy the human actors' faces too close. I feel like the songs in the series are like almost catchy. Oh, interesting. I know they did a death battle. I only take so much bad Disney Channel music at once, so
was
good buffer.
2020. The long wait as we all experienced the most viral sensation in recent years. It was Among Us.
Fall Guys was the biggest news that year. He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle. In the lonely dark of space, aboard a malfunctioning vessel, a peculiar crew of bean-shaped astronauts must work together to save their souls from a quiet demise.
Tons of stuff could go wrong at any moment, and it's up to these colorful clowns to fix it. Impressive, since their spacesuits don't seem to have any arms.
Oh, that's not actually a suit, that's just how they are.
Wait, what? Ew, why?
More on that later. The tasks they undertake to save their ship require varying degrees of difficulty and skill. It may not take much to reconnect some wires in the cafeteria, but it certainly does to clear asteroids when your ship is moving faster than light.
If that's not a suit, then why do they have a cafeteria when they don't have a mouth?
At any point, these creatures must draw from medical training, electrical skills, and mechanical know-how.
Okay, but it's total chaos, so teamwork is key. They gotta spread out and trust that while they're all swiping cards, they have each other's backs.
Two beam creatures.
Well, success is always
with strange
uncertain,
anatomy.
as though fate has placed some external force that stands between this species and their survival.
There's an imposter among them! I mean, among us! But not us, though, right, Wiz? Right?
For the 9th time, I'm not an imposter.
That's just what an imposter would say. They're shape-shifting aliens. They could be anyone, or any mad scientist in a lab coat.
The imposter threatens the pack and pushes them towards extinction by any means necessary. Anything from damaging lights to wrecking the ship's reactor.
Which can be tricky to fix in time, even though imposters are naturally skilled at crawling through the vents. The crewmates need special engineer training to do the same, so not all of them can McLean it up.
All while the imposters conceal their motivations and infiltrate the herd. The others always know something isn't right, and the imposters use that paranoia to motivate their prey into ejecting each other into space. Just for being kinda sus.
Yeah, Wiz is the imposter.
He does seem to know an awful lot about these aliens. And just to put it out there, it isn't me.
That's a good point. Have you ever heard him say sus?
No, what do you mean? Knowing a lot is literally my job.
I can kill. Ear canals!
Jeez, fix your mic, dummy.
I agree with the metal bowling ball.
Well, I knew the sussy baka from the start. And again, just to be very clear, it isn't me.
Same here.
Oh, come on. Anyone could be the imposter, Boomstick. It's completely random.
Random starts with R and so does... Oh, I know who it is. It's always the red one.
Wait, what? But it isn't me. It isn't me.
Oh, right. There's usually 2 imposters.
Dear God.
The imposters aren't just tricksters. They're also hunters. Bloodhounds tracking and assassinating crewmates when they least expect it.
They'll snap their necks, stab them with a knife, shoot them with a Desert Eagle, or use their frickin' tongues to impale their faces. Oh, God! Right through the visor.
They may look like they're wearing
Official
spacesuits,
comics?
but that's not a visor. That is their actual face. Examining their cross-section reveals their insides always match the color of their bodies, and that they are comprised of exactly 1 large bone, which must mean their ability to walk is entirely muscle-based. Their whole anatomy is one unsolvable mystery.
Ew! They've got human toes, buff arms for no reason, and can stretch like Mr. Fantastic? What are these freaky things?
No one knows. They don't even exist within the same realm of mortality as you or I. Even if one of them is killed or ejected into the lifeless void of space, they return as a ghost, invisible, incorporeal, unable to communicate with the living, but nonetheless still among us.
Even beyond death, they can
Didn't know
plot
you
the
could be a
demise
ghost.
of
I didn't
other
play a
crew.
ton of that
Or
game though.
become guardian angels for the living by literally shielding them.
That's gotta be one tough shield, because remember that Desert Eagle they holster? Apparently, that thing also fires a laser that can rip apart whole planets. Good God! To split this planet apart like that would need over 10 nonillion tons of TNT.
A number so incomprehensible you'd have to multiply 1 billion by 1 billion twice.
More than enough to annihilate Earth over 160 million times, which seems like overkill for the, space vampires they were fighting.
Right, the crew has crossed over with a variety of other universes. Fortnite, Vampire Survivors, Space Warlord Organ Trading Simulator, the classics.
Including this Henry Stickmin guy. Apparently, he's a kleptomaniac with a surprisingly wide and wacky arsenal all the crew can have.
Desert Eagle-eyed crewmates will find Henry's weapons throughout the ship, like a banana bomb, a teleporter, a ninja star, and a magic pencil that can bring drawings to life.
These creepy Teletubbies can sketch whatever they want into existence.
Anyone else ever read
and they're
Harold and the
suddenly
Purple
everywhere
Crown?
I look now. Where's these little trash
Is anyone else kind of freaked out by Harold and
In
the
a
Purple
strange
Crown?
way, all of this makes sense for this fascinating species. In the face of insurmountable odds, something inside tells them to band together no matter what, to use all the tools available and try to survive again and again. On a ship, on strange planets, anywhere they may be, in spite of anything that may be going on in the world. They either fix what's broken or face certain doom. But no matter what, they do it together.
Among us, together! Yeah! Ooh! Welcome to the bright, colorful world of the Blunderdome! Natural habitat to these lovable little beings known as the Fall Guys, who race each other through fun playgrounds with nothing but clear skies above.
These lively obstacle courses showcase their inherent skills and abilities. As if drawn by natural instinct, they hurtle over barriers together and pass through various tests of strength, agility, and mental fortitude.
And it's pretty impressive considering how elaborate these bounce house courses get. How do these weebles wobble through it?
With a shocking level of innate parkour mastery that otherwise hasn't been seen since 2006. But honestly, not many of the beans make it, and only one can be crowned the winner before everything starts all over again.
Which makes for some very friendly competition, like survival of the fittest, but for a bunch of candy grimaces. They'll grab, shove, and slam into each other to make it out on top, or even roll up into a ball and launch across the course. Self-preservation be damned.
And over time, the beans have evolved to higher levels of, let's call it imagination. The engineer Digi invented the creative device so the beans could start making and designing new obstacles and challenges for themselves, as well as additional tools like wrecking balls, wind-up boxes for punching foes, and even translators that make their nonsensical language intelligible.
But even at their best, they're still just flinging themselves over these obstacles like a bunch of drunken lemmings.
This species seems to have a biological urge to navigate these courses for one singular purpose: get that crown.
I mean, if I could be king for a day, I'd push you off a cliff right now.
Very funny. Get away from me.
Things in the Blunderdome can get wild. We've seen these goobers get smacked by giant mallets and fall into actual hot lava, but they always pop back up at the qualification stage later, completely unharmed. somehow.
These remarkable creatures have demonstrated some dumbfounding durability, such as getting struck by meteors. That's a hit anywhere from 18 tons of TNT to 15 kilotons. But they still get right back up to Rube Goldberg themselves straight through another obstacle course.
On top of that, they were hit with the Big Bang and came out the other side completely fine. Wait, what? Did I just say the Big Bang? Why do we even mention the meteor? Who cares? Their suits are basically indestructible.
Boomstick, I hate to tell you this.
No.
Those aren't really...
Don't say it!
Those aren't actually suits. That's their skin.
Oh, man. People were getting weird back in 2020. Didn't they have better things to do?
With only arms, legs, and eyes, there must be some genetic mechanism inside the beans that causes them to be self-sustaining. Though after some dissection, it's unclear. This is an official image, by the way.
I don't know what's more upsetting, that skeleton or the fact that these jelly beans are 6 friggin' feet tall.
Imagine bumping into this thing in a dark alleyway. No, thank you.
So, this means when you start the game, you're just flat out naked? Just swinging away, beans in the wind.
Strange such nakedness would be allowed, considering what's actually happening is the Fall Guys are contestants in a non-stop 24/7 game show, the Ultimate Knockout. Yeah, that's what's actually happening here. So what might be misconstrued as some sort of migration cycle is really a brutal, never-ending gauntlet that takes advantage of their tunnel vision.
So it's like the Truman Show mixed with Wipeout and Naked and Afraid. What happened to them being just colorful cartoon beans?
And they survive to keep playing the game no matter what. The game makers have said that when the beans fall to their death, they feel a moment of displacement, serenity, zen-like detachment from all worldly and physical bonds. Then they pop back onto the podium to celebrate their achievements.
Yay!
That's an official quote.
They've also said they're strong enough to rip someone in half and can stretch their bodies so far they pass beyond the observable universe.
Oh, God.
I've seen it happen when I spaghettified it.
Oh, yeah. January 18th, 2022, 9:14 a.m. The Fall Guy stretched so far, he exited the universe as we know it. And then he kept going.
Megamine's great.
Universes, the Fall Guys have seen dozens of guest stars from other stories and have learned from their cultures, like flying around in the TARDIS of Doctor Who fame, wielding He-Man's power sword, launching Ryu's iconic Hadouken, or even just becoming Pac-Man. They just become Pac-Man. They're Pac-Man now.
Wiz, I know we've seen some crazy things on the show, but
Something I love about this series is how they take literally every stupid joke completely seriously.
What are we about to rot upon the world? Is this cute and colorful reality an endless void of darkness and despair? Revelations of disturbances too catastrophic for the human mind to process? A vicious cycle on this blue marble surrounded by mouthless, dead-eyed beans.
Pretty much.
Cool, let's see them fight. Wiz, you gotta play that mobile game with all the superheroes and the cool art.
Oh, are you talking about Marvel Snap?
Yeah, that one, the card collecting game.
It's more than that. Marvel Snap is a fast-paced dueling card game, like really fast.
Yeah, they took literally every dumb joke as long as it was from the canon source. Like, we're not taking this all completely seriously.
And it's easy and quick to get into. I was kind of worried I'd have to spend too much time learning different cards and rules, but no, it's actually really intuitive.
And look at that 3D art, so cool! There's hundreds of cards and thousands of art variants, and they add new cards each week. Plus, they just opened something all new, the Vault, with all kinds of exclusive goodies.
Sure, but hang on, this guy I'm playing against right now is really tough.
That's because it's me, loser!
Oh, shucks.
Download the Marvel Snap app now, available on the App Store, Google Play, and Steam.
Or visit marvelsnap.com to learn more. All right, the combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
It's time for a death battle!
Go Fall Guys! There are Among Us Fall Guys skins too, so I mean, the Fall Guys can be Muggus. It was definitely one of the silliest fights. No! The Muggus is a grabber. The Among Us character is usually a grabber. I don't know what it is about players who wear the Muggus skin, but they're like always grabbers.
When's the next episode? This is my new favorite show. Move over, chimp crazy.
We broke this down into 3 categories: offense, defense, and the bizarre. Let's start with offense.
I mean, the bogus Among Us could
The
blow
Fall
up
Guys are
planets,
indestructible,
not to mention
so-
moving faster than light to hit all those planets in one shot. It's kinda out there, but no Fall Guy has ever done anything like that. The crewmates clearly get the edge in offense.
Though that impressive power matters less when we look at defense.
It's crazy how much damage the Fall Guys can walk off. They survived anything their course threw at them, took hits from meteors, and most importantly, survived the Big Bang. You know, the explosion that blew the whole freaking universe into existence? Easy edge for the bumbling
truly
beast.
only
We can
care
even go a step
about
further.
getting the crown.
Both of these creatures have demonstrated various forms of
All that
invulnerability
matters.
and death negation, like how the Fall Guys could always pop back up for another round, or how the crewmates became ghosts when they die. However, only the Fall Guys had a viable counter. Only the Fall Guys could ensure that their foe stays dead.
Pac-Man. They can become Pac-Man. Well, you know, it's ghosts.
Brilliant.
Which leads us to the truly bizarre stuff about both of these beanie freaks.
They could both stretch their bodies to absurd lengths, but only the Fall Guys stretch beyond the observable universe in a matter of minutes. In fact, if we take these posting times literally, that would mean the Fall Guys can stretch at speeds over a quadrillion times faster than light.
I don't know, Wiz. That feels like a bit of a stretch. Wink.
The crewmates did have plenty of answers.
That
to the
makes
Fall
sense.
Guys'
I don't want
hijinks,
just anyone
like how
getting in there.
Magic Pencil
They
Sword
gotta
to
make sure
fight
you're
off
actually like
He-Man's
invested in the
Power Stone, or
series.
how they could potentially hack Digi's creations.
But the overwhelming amount of stuff that the Fall Guys have access to just dwarfs the Among Us crew's arsenal. I mean, Hadoukens, TARDIS, just the tip of the iceberg. Yeah, the spaceship crew had a few deadlier weapons among them, but the Fallen Guys had too many options that could not be countered.
The crewmates may have been cunning and dangerous, but the one-track-minded Fall Guys just wouldn't go down.
Making sure the losers of this fight were no longer Among Us.
Oh no, we never found the second imposter!
Ah, damn it, I knew that stupid robot was sus!
That's a cute one. I might send that to be.
So embarrassing.
The winner is the Fall Guys. And me.
Next time on Death
Of
Battle.
course they are.
Subscribe and join as a member to see more Death Battle. Thanks for watching.
Stop. What? When I'm not signed in, I get the weirdest shit over here. There's always some, like, weird Christian stuff. Tuesday, 21st July prayer for financial breakthrough. Trust God to provide every need today. Morning prayer. My son skipped the ceremony honoring my 40 years. Well, I really like the chess people. Those were really cool. Big fan of the chess people. I like that. These episodes are kind of long, but that's okay. If you need background noise, I can put it on as background noise.
Gru versus Megamind.
You either die a despicable villain or live long enough to become an admirable hero.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze
Yeah,
their
it's
weapons,
two
armor, and
smart
skills to find out
guys
who would
who
win a death battle.
Were villains and went around to being good guys.
Evil never dies. It merely goes dormant, waiting for a villain to arise and spread its name to the darkest corners of the earth.
Like a man so evil, he cuts in line at the coffee shop and makes balloon animals for kids and then pops them in their face. What a despicable man.
The world would surely tremble at his name, Gru.
Really? Just Gru? Doesn't have some sort of stage name or like doctorate or, you know?
Felonious Gru, son of the supervillain known as the Bald Terror.
Oh man, he's so dead.
Even as a small child, Gru had big aspirations. He could make
They have to
rocket bikes,
collect the-
cheese rays, and this dog?
And
He
his
made them
arsenal grew
sentient?
even more with the help of his new best buddy, Dr. Nefario. See? Now that's a supervillain name. Come on, man.
His freaking Kill the King, drag his dead body in his really cool outfit.
Flamethrowers, sticky fingers,
Like we got the
fantastic
king.
entertainment for 2-year-olds, and a fully weaponized airship. Though I must question this thing's aerodynamics.
It's loaded up with wing-mounted machine guns, a rocket thruster that can escape the Earth's atmosphere, and a whole lot of missiles.
Despite the impressive firepower, Gru's go-to weapon seems to be his freeze ray, which can encase most people in ice with a single shot.
With his gadgets and gusto combined, and a little teaching from the School of Villainy, Gru started making strides in the underworld of evil. He swiped the crown jewels when he was only a kid, nabbed the New York City Jumbotron just for fun, and even stole both the Eiffel Tower and the Statue of Liberty.
From Las Vegas.
Yeah, Gru was bad, but he wasn't good at being bad. A lot of his schemes kind of blew up in his face.
The line dividing genius from moron is a thin one. Just look at us.
Oh yeah, my back hurts from carrying all the genius between us.
Regardless, while Gru may not have been the infamous villain he'd hoped, he did earn the loyalty of a few guys.
Guys?
Yeah, guys, like little guys.
Just
There's
like in
Kevin,
Checkers, but a
Bob,
lot more
Stuart,
complicated.
Otto, Billy, Larry, John, Liam, Chad.
Yeah, I haven't played Checkers in a long
And that's
time.
not just their role, it's the actual
Checkers
name
all
of
the
their
time.
species.
Right. The Minions have existed since the dawn of life itself, over 3 billion years ago. And they all follow
Which is
one
stupid, because in the
instinct,
first
to serve the biggest,
Despicable Me
baddest,
movie, it
most
was confirmed that
despicable
Gru
villain they
made
can
them.
find.
T-Rexes, Count Dracula, AI artists, whatever evil they can lay their grubby little eyes on. Or just one eye. But finding their big boss was the easy part. Keeping them, not so much.
The amount of times the Minions have incidentally caused the death of their own bosses is staggering.
Wait, didn't one of them serve the Queen of England?
What about it?
Nothing.
The Minions witnessed Gru's villainy firsthand and decided that he would be the next big boss they follow.
It worked out like PB&J, because like Gru, these guys do machines.
The Minions invented the fly swatter centuries before humans did. They somehow crafted light bulbs and instruments while living in the Arctic. So, naturally, building Gru's absolutely massive evil lair proved a simple task.
They're geniuses. They once pulled off a jailbreak by building a flying machine out of prison outfits, fans, computers, and toilets. Aisle seaters are in shambles right now.
And they're seemingly invulnerable, having been smashed flat, set on fire, and exploded by missiles even inside their own mouths. But also, they're possibly immortal? Kevin here has been around since the dawn of their species, which means Kevin is 3 billion years old.
And their numbers keep increasing. Over 10,000 minions clock into work every day.
And yet, in a real work setting, they'd be fired in minutes.
Oh yeah, there's nothing like a banana, a popsicle, a butt, or anything remotely silly to distract them enough for plans to go off course. But these guys love TikTok.
It's no wonder that, even with thousands of minions at his back, Gru still couldn't cut it as a supervillain. Maybe it was time to hang up the freeze ray for good, but not before taking a chance at his ultimate dream.
Steal the moon!
Easier said than done.
Oh no, really? The moon?
When he couldn't get the shrink ray he needed on his own, Gru required a new, even more despicable weapon.
Children. Specifically, adopting 3 girls. And somehow it worked! Crime of the century, here we go!
How tragic that through all the dance recitals and unicorns, Gru discovered the joys of fatherhood.
Oh, story of my life. God, I'm so proud of her. Anyway, out with the villain
I
and
remember
in
that
with the
movie
bedtime
being,
stories.
But even though he turned
Kinda
a new
nice,
leaf for his
actually.
daughters, Gru wasn't done commanding his minion army. Now he'd just do it as not a villain, by joining the Anti-Villain League.
The AVL hooked him up with lipstick tasers and goop grenades, mini submarines, and
I don't even
high-tech
think I've heard of
cars,
whatever
and
Minions and
some
Monsters
great
is.
date nights with the future Mrs. Gru. Things are looking up,
Yeah.
buddy.
5 minions.
They're like,
even
hey, people
underwent
like these
experimental
funny little
procedures to
guys, and
become
honestly,
more
in the first
powerful
Despicable
than
Me,
before.
Me movie,
The
I thought they
Mega
were pretty funny.
Tim stretches. Dave got
And then
super
they
strength. Gus got super
made their
strength
lore
and
all
flight.
stupid.
Sorry, Dave. Jerry became an indestructible brick monster who eats live bombs.
And
He's my
over-marketed
favorite.
them.
And Mel's new laser eye can blast through the planet and hit a satellite on the other side in less than a second.
Calculating its speed across the Earth, that's 5%
Oh,
the
that's
speed of
cute.
light.
So, Gru's true calling wasn't being a villain at all. He's an anti-villain, and he's good at it too. This guy can dodge heat-seeking missiles and casually punch out a shark in one shot. All because he was in full dad mode.
But the most incredible element here is easy to miss. For billions of years, the minions have had the biological drive to serve the greatest villain they can find. And yet, despite Gru's turn away from villainy, they chose to continue serving him. The minions' love for Gru is so strong, it overwrote their primordial genetic code.
They still see greatness in him, even now. After all,
He will
Felonious
defeat
Gru
Megamind
will
with
go
the
to
power
the
of
moon
friendship.
and back to keep his family safe.
Although
Wait, Kevin, don't
I
touch that
still
button!
really like Megamind, so I'm like, I don't know who to root for.
Okay, Megamind should be up next, but
Guess I'm
there
not
is a
gonna
chance
root
that
for
it got
either of them.
totally nuked by DreamWorks since they hit our preview last week.
Don't worry, we have a plan. You can watch the complete Gru vs. Megamind episode on deathbattle.gg. That's our website. It's linked below. It has every episode of Death Battle uncut, unfiltered, uncensored. Even the weird ones.
It's kind of like our own private Patreon with memberships that support the show directly. And for this
that's
week,
cool.
you can get a membership for a month for free by using the code PRESENTATION. All caps. That's important.
Megamind is great.
Being a member gets all sorts of extra goodies and behind-the-scenes stuff, but the important thing is you'll be able to watch the unaltered Gru vs. Megamind episode for free.
So head to deathbattle.gg right now and use code PRESENTATION for a free month of membership. All caps. Remember.
What happens when the villain wins? On a grim, dark day, the citizens of Metro City learned the horrifying answer to that
Metrocity,
question.
you mean?
When their hero, their Metro Man, was lost forever. Bested by the fearsome supervillain destined for greatness, Megamind.
Cause if your rival's name is gonna be that on the nose, you better match that energy. Their feud goes way back to when they escaped their dying planet Superman style, and immediately got in each other's way.
While Metro Baby landed in a nice and cozy home, he caused the weird blue kid to crash land in prison and literally grow up behind bars.
What kind of city government would make the kids stay in jail?
Being raised by criminals, so fucking fun.
He was a perfect fit for the Metrocity prison for the criminally gifted.
Metro City.
But while
Metrocity.
everyone outside bars loved that new kid who could fly, they weren't too keen on the boy with the big blue head and his constant string of destructive accidents.
So if he was going to be the bad guy no matter what, why not embrace it and become a true supervillain?
Sounds kinda like you. Megamind is a genius inventor, creating weapons to stage prison breaks before he could even talk.
It does sound like me. With a bit of tutoring from Machiavellian in the ways of wrongdoing, he got to work on his crime-starting career, facing off with his destined rival over and over again.
And Megamind's got everything he needs. An invisible car for getaways, assuming he can find the thing. A hoverbike for flying and shooting at the same time, if he can multitask. Lasers, bombs, bubble guns, baseball bats, jet boots, and more galore.
But his go-to is the D-Gun, a laser pistol with various possible effects, such as destroying, decelerating, demoralizing, de-locking, de-gravity thing?
I wouldn't expect a guy calling himself Megamind to have the best name ideas, Wiz. He probably based the entire thing around his favorite setting, dehydration, which turns people and objects into tiny cubes for easy storage, though they can be returned to normal with a drop of water.
He did keep the whole mind thing running with his horde of henchmen, the Brainbots. These mini-mechs follow Megamind's every command, even pulling off the most incredible drone show you've ever seen in your life.
Which, according to the director's commentary, is made up of over 100,000 Brainbots. Though, ironically, I wouldn't call his Brainbots, smart. That designation goes to Megamind's proper minion, Minion!
Minion serves many roles
Minion's
for Megamind.
great.
Sidekick, guy in the chair, awkward sibling relationship despite technically being his pet.
The best fish friend you could have in your plans to kidnap news reporter Roxanne Ritchie to piss off Metro Man for the 19th time this week. Or for the final time. Children, shield your eyes!
He did it! Thanks to his most powerful invention of all, an orbital death ray that could shatter mountains, Metro City's hero had fallen. It was Megamind's time to rule.
And he had no idea what to do next. With Metro Man dead, what was even the
I love
point?
how
Clearly, he
good of a
needed
city
new superhero to
leader
fight. And apparently,
is.
he could just make that happen. With his diffuser gun, he injected this loser with Metro Man's DNA, turning him into Metro Man 2.0, Titan.
Megamind even trained him himself, using his disguise generator and expert acting skills. What a performer! But for all his smarts, Megamind is a terrible judge of character. When Titan turned tyrant, Metrocity needed yet
Titan's
another
such a good
superhero to
villain.
save it.
Metro City. Thanks to some encouragement from an old friend, rival, who wasn't actually
Incel
dead
of
at
the
all and
fucking
just
century.
let all of this happen despite having godlike superpowers. Thanks
Yeah,
to
he's
some
a really good
encouragement from a
villain.
very experienced friend, Megamind stepped up to the plate.
Hey, he had the moxie for it. Megamind's tanked explosions and dodged electric blasts. Titan was strong enough to toss around a skyscraper, and Megamind put up a solid fight with his mech armor.
A suit specifically designed to mimic the pilot's movements, whether it be lamppost sword fighting, busting a move, or being surprisingly stealthy.
And with quick thinking and some hench help, Megamind taught Titan a lesson he knew all too well. The bad guy always loses.
So the city decided to just forgive Megamind of all his years of terror and destruction and call him their superhero. I guess they didn't really have any better options.
Hey, Megamind took his new role as the city's hero seriously. He even built a suit that mimicked Metro Man's strength, flight, and X-ray vision.
Now, the D-Gun is used to make runaway bad guys lose their balance and get caught. His portal bazooka is excellent for saving people from out-of-control cars. And while the Death Ray might not have been a hero killer, it's certainly great at blowing up giant evil robots.
And Minion was all for it.
Actually, once they went nice, Minion had to legally change his name to Old Chum because of some other Minion-related thing.
What? You mean the yellow guys?
No, I mean they got a cease and desist from Mr. Minion's Meatsicles.
Sounds delicious.
Oh my god.
I'm still gonna call him Minion. You can't break up this duo.
Even as Megamind uses his tools for good, destruction still tends to be inevitable. To the point that, as the new mayor
do
of
not know
Metro
the
City
actor. I'm
and
not
his new
good with
partner,
actors.
Roxanne instituted a policy that anyone inconvenienced by a Megamind battle would receive a free cup of coffee. That sounds horrifically right for corruption.
So that's why there's so many Starbuckses everywhere. At least the brain bots are covering all the cleanup. It's a messy job being a superhero, but Megamind's finally found his purpose, even saving the city from the Doom Syndicate, which is like 6 of him.
Though not without some self-induced difficulty. You have an instant wind gun on your hip.
use it.
Hey, with girlfriend, sidekick, and adoring fans to keep him going, it doesn't matter what sort of danger comes to town. Megamind will always rise up as the defender of Metrocity.
It's Metro City.
Metrocity. It's funner to say.
What happened to you? You look funny and squishy.
I'm over here, Boomstick. That's the new Death Metal plushie from U2's, and it's available to order right.
Oh, like the one they made of me a year ago. You got jealous, didn't you?
What? No, mine's way cuter. Look at it, and you can get one by clicking the link.
They forgot to color one of your arms.
Boomstick, I have a metal arm. I always have. Oh, and if you order it, there's a chance you might get a special version with a gold arm.
That's actually kind of awesome.
That's
you
cute.
definitely want one.
Oh, fine. Yeah, I do, okay? Shut up about it.
This is your last chance. Click the link below to order your own Wiz. This ends in just a few days, and the plush will never be available again, so don't miss out. All right, the combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
It's time for a death battle!
Minions, prep the artillery. We're not letting him get away.
Hi, peoples.
Ooh, and here I thought it was the hero who chases the bad guys. Ha!
What was janky 3D animation they got going on?
Minion, I'm going to need a new pair of pants. Yes, sir. Sending you the Sunday Best package. Take this! Oh. Ha! Freeze ray! A dark color scheme! Strength ray! Henchmen who look the same! Laser gun! A genius weaponry! You are suddenly a real supervillain! You're just missing one thing! And what might that be?
Frozen. Yeah.
Minions, assemble! And start the music! Oh! Check that mark in the morning. No, hey! We just fixed that! Come on, sir! Smash him! Oh, hey, that's kinda cute!
I say janky animation with great affection. Doing some arm stretches.
In my own Metrocity? Do you even know who I am? Well, life is full of disappointments. Hey!
Banana!
Now, as you like to say, Gun! If you're going to steal my lines, at least do it properly. Whoa! Okay, thank you for the help.
Minion, is the death ray ready?
Approaching. Getting there. Almost. Kinda. Maybe. On the way. Yes. Fire! Whoa!
Oh, Roxanne's gonna kill me.
Remember this, villain! The good guys always win! This is how it's really done! Dehydration gun! Villain! You mean... Oh, wait a minute. This is all a big misunderstanding. Huh? Mark is going to kill me for this.
I guess that's 2 for Gru, 0 for Will Ferrell.
With so many chaotic factors in this fight, it can get overwhelming trying to keep track of them all.
So we'll break it down 3 ways: arsenal, minions, and skill.
In terms of weapon versatility, Megamind definitely had much more to use. The D-Gun alone had enough effects to match what Gru could do with nearly his whole kit. Throw in disguise generators, invisible cars, portal bazookas, and it's a lot for Gru to handle.
Just one problem. Megamind might have had variety, but Gru's weaponry was far stronger in scope. Sure, Megamind's Death Ray could blow up a mountain, but Gru's Shrink Ray could take out the moon.
And is much easier to use on top of it. Frankly, much of Megamind's deadliest weaponry would have little effect anyway.
Check this out. When Gru first tried to get the Shrink Ray, he triggered a missile trap so explosive it created a mushroom cloud. Based on the size of the blast, that's about 4 kilotons of TNT. And all those missiles fired at him from point-blank range.
Shockingly, that's about 38 times greater than Megamind's orbital Death Ray. And Gru kind of just walked it off. Megamind's mecha suit could take big hits like that, but Megamind himself? No.
So Megamind would have a hard time blowing him up, but he could still dehydrate him, disintegrate him, freeze him, or even just turn off his gravity and send him flying into space, right?
Sure, though Gru does have some similar weaponry. As far as arsenal is concerned, Gru could take out Megamind through sheer firepower, but Megamind could potentially counter with the D-Gun's effects. It's a whoever shoots first wins situation. Their arsenals match up fairly evenly.
But these guys aren't alone. Let's cover Gru's minions and Megamind's minions.
1-to-1, one of Gru's minions was certainly more likely to take out a BrainBot. Sure, minions may have the attention span of an iPad kid, but they can effortlessly hack, dismantle, and rewire most machines, like, you know, Megamind's BrainBots.
And they just won't die! Certainly nothing the BrainBots have can take them out. For all we know, the minions may be completely indestructible.
To be fair, maybe one BrainBot doesn't stand a chance against one minion, but there are far more BrainBots than minions in total. 10 times more. And the BrainBots are a much more organized and focused unit.
Compared to the vanilla minions, maybe. But the Mega Minions are strong enough to rip and chop through metal like wet paper. Aunt Mel's got a history of destroying satellites with a laser beam strong enough to cut through the earth, so it's bye-bye Death Ray.
But we can't ignore the most competent minion of them all, Minion, or Megamind's minion, Old Chum.
He's way more competent than Dr. Navario, can operate all the tech like the mech suit used to fight Titan, and can match Megamind's brains and style beat for beat. Remember that whole presentation bit in the movie? Yeah, that wasn't Megamind, that was Minion.
While Megamind's army lacks the power of, say, the Mega Minions, having a second in command who's just as smart and capable as him makes up for it, making a battle of their underlings too close to call.
So, if neither of them has a clear edge in weaponry or their henchmen, what matters most isn't the tools themselves, but how good or bad they are at using them. It all comes down to skill.
Both Gru and Megamind have their share of less than genius moments and bad luck, but even in the face of things gone wrong, Gru tends to fail upwards, still ultimately completing his missions, unlike Megamind, who tends to fail much harder before he learns how to succeed.
And we love him for it. It's not like Gru has to put up with Elvis Superman, but even during their villain phases, Gru found some success, unlike Megamind.
Who also has a bad habit of not using his weapon effectively. Like never using the D-Gun against the Doom Syndicate, either because he can get easily flustered or he just loves showing off. So it's more likely Gru could succeed in a whoever shoots first wins quick draw situation with their arsenals.
Quick draw is right. Megamind dodging electric blast is impressive, clocking in around half the speed of sound.
But it pales in comparison to Gru piloting hypersonic ships into space and dodging heat-seeking missiles at Mach 10. Meaning he is fast enough to win that quick draw. Gru takes skill, which finally tips the scales. After a nail-biting back and forth, he has just enough to land the winning blow first, more often than not.
Sorry, Megamind. I think you losing was a Metrocity.
It's Metros. The winner is Felonious Gru.
Next time on Death Battle.
Subscribe and join as a member to see more Death Battle. Thanks for watching.
So do that. Playing the long game. Okay, I want to see this, so we're going back to full window. If anyone has any music requests, I can put them on. Or like Night Vale or something. Okay. Let's see where I was. Listen to that one, right? I think so. Did I listen to this one? Or did I go through that one and then this
Hello,
one?
Night Vale. It is me, Jeffrey Craner, and I would like to tell you about Camp Night Vale. We're planning to do a weekend-long writers' workshop March 5th
I think I've listened to that, but I can't
in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
fucking remember it.
Hello, Night Vale. It is me, Jeffrey Craner, and I am here to tell you about Camp Night Vale. Yeah, we're planning a weekend-long writers' workshop March 5th through 7th, 2027 in Santa Fe, New Mexico. This workshop is for writers of all kinds who want to spend a weekend in the desert doing guided writing exercises, participating in group discussions and readings, and other fun, artsy, wordy things that are yet to be announced. This workshop will be taught by me and my Night Vale co-creator, Joseph Fink, and will be for a maximum of 20 in-person students. Registration opens June 16th for our paid Patreon members. There's a $50 off tuition for Weird Scout or higher members. Registration opens to the general public on June the 18th. More info at welcometonightvale.com/Camp Night Vale. See y'all in the desert. Also, make sure you pre-order The Nudge, a brand new horror novella by my Night Vale co-creator, Joseph Fink. T. Kingfisher says The Nudge is a perfect little bite-sized horror. Some of these scenes are going to live in my head for a long, long time. The print version of The Nudge
and resort-style property. The developers of Hysteria Land want you
your very first policy. Or maybe you're just looking for something that works better for you and your family. Either way, they make it simple to see your options. No guesswork, no surprises. Ready to see how easy and fun shopping for car insurance can be? Visit Progressive.com and give the name your
face.
Today's the big day, Night Vale. It's the grand opening of our town's first theme park. Hysteria Land theme park and succulent gardens and resort-style property. The developers of Hysteria Land want you to know that this is a theme park, not an amusement park. While they are similar places, a theme park is different because it has a central theme. For instance, the central theme of Universal Studios is filmmaking. Every ride and attraction has to do with movies.
I don't have any avenue
Minions
queue.
or Jurassic Park or Oppenheimer.
I'd have to look them up to see if they had a
Disneyland
podcast
is
or something.
themed around Disney characters. Mickey Mouse, Jar Jar Binks, Little Oppenheimer, etc. While an amusement park is just rickety rides operated by surly 16-year-olds. Hysteria Land, like Universal and Magic Kingdom, is not an amusement park. It's a theme park. And that theme is amusement. Don't get it confused, though. Hysteria Land doesn't promote amusement. It extricates us from the irrational escapism of amusement. Sadly, existence is totalitarian. You cannot subvert your own historical architecture through amusement. Amusement is a homeopathic balm, a placebo of pleasure. Amusement will not save you, only distract you from voracious, fact-based survival. That's Hysteria Land's slogan, and they have it on signs at the entrance and next to every ride. For instance, a log flume ride at an amusement park is predictably a gentle, water-based coaster that ends with a splashdown. But at Hysteria Land, the log flume ride is about our relationship to our mothers, about the symmetry of birth
yeah. Okay, I
and
did
death.
hear this.
We return to
episode.
the womb, metaphorically speaking. Hysteria Land cautions you not to literally return to the womb upon death. The log flume is
don't
both
remember
yonic
enough of it, so
and
let's play
phallic,
again.
and ultimately, it is a psychoanalytic baptism. Your photo will be taken on the final drop, and you'll be forced to see yourself for the you truly are. Hysteria Land also features a parachute plunge, which is actually an exploration of our physical insecurities, a tilt-a-whirl, which confronts our fears of sexual intimacy. And of course, there's a petting zoo, featuring some animals that have died, or are close to death, displaying visible signs of disease and infirmity. Some of the animals have been partially eaten by other animals in the petting zoo because there are no cages or restraints. The petting zoo is for all ages and is the one place where pure amusement is encouraged. And no attempts will be made to remind petting zoo patrons of the horrors of living. More on Hysteria Land soon. But first, it's time once again for the Children's Fun Fact Science Corner. You remember a couple weeks ago when I told you about that stream, the one in the far north reaches of Russia, in the place that has been home to waves of human civilization over thousands of years, some willing, some not, testing the limits of what human experience can encompass, yada yada yada, and how in that stream was a kind of fish. It was not a pretty fish, right? But, you know, only because we tend to judge other creatures by the aesthetic or practical value to us, etc., and by that same rubric, the fish was neither nutritious nor tasty. You remember this? I also brought up how the fish was alive, and it lived in the stream, and the stream was its world in the way that our world is the world, a limitation we do not perceive, right? And then how during the middle of the last century, great mining facilities were built in the far north reaches of Russia. Remember? And laborers were sent there, a new captive population, digging up nickel, and breathing in nickel, and coughing up nickel, a pretty little sparkle on the exhale. Killing them? Surely you remember me telling you all this. I went on about how from the mining facilities came a black, poisonous sludge that overtook the stream, and then the fish died. They had never been discovered by any humans, and so no humans noticed their absence, but they were absent nonetheless. Remember that whole thing? It was part of our Children's Sad Fact Science Corner. Well, you may be wondering why I'm bringing up a sad fact in our Fun Fact segment. It's because I have an update to this story that makes it fun now instead of sad. It turns out people finally noticed the dead fish and the polluted stream, and they bought the land. They're going to build new homes there now. So the land is finally going to good use, thanks to science. This has been the Children's Fun Fact Science Corner. People are flooding into the newly opened Hysteria Land theme park and succulent gardens and resort-style property. They're loving all the rides, like the capricious ship, which swings back and forth, like our own ungrounded ethics. The ennui wheel that just spins and goes nowhere, really. And of course, the angst press, the cylindrical room that spins so fast you stick to the wall, which is caused by centrifugal force, but also symbolizes how pain and sorrow manifest in you as anger, preventing you from moving on from childhood trauma. But the attraction everyone is truly excited about is the Disassociator. It's the world's fastest roller coaster, reaching speeds of over 350 miles per hour as it descends its initial drop of 3,000 feet. which also makes it the world's tallest roller coaster. The Disassociator was designed by Nightville resident Journey Brown Saintel. Journey is not a roller coaster designer by trade, but she did win a Hysteria Land fan competition to design their signature ride. She drew the Disassociator on the back of a Denny's placemat while hanging out with her study group at 2 a.m. one Friday night. They were all supposed to be cramming for their 19th century Serbian poetry midterm, but they were procrastinating over coffee and fish tacos. So, while trying to avoid doing work, Journey came up with this idea. Journey didn't intend for the roller coaster to be 3,000 feet tall. She actually meant for it to be only 250 feet tall, but she wrote all her specs in inches and the engineers got confused. Still, the Disassociator is a marvel of construction, and thrill seekers from across the globe are rushing to Night Vale to be the first people to ride this impossibly frightening contraption. Hysteria Land is, of course, proud of their massive centerpiece, but they remind all riders that the Disassociator is not an escapist tool of mirth and exhilaration, but an exercise in existential severance. Journey Brown Saintel, though, told journalists she thinks the ride looks scary AF. Speaking of which, the inaugural journey of the roller coaster is beginning right now. A line hundreds deep watches on as the first cars full of speed lovers ascend up the hill into the skies. More on that soon. But let's go now to our popular advice segment. Hey there, Cecil. Our first question. Hey there, Cecil. I'm a middle-aged dad who's having a tough time connecting with his teenage daughter. We've always had a positive relationship, but lately she's aloof and doesn't want to share her life with me. What's your advice on staying close with adolescent children? Signed, Jim R. Well, Jim R., when my niece, Janice, turned 13, she definitely became a little less interested in hanging around us grown-ups. But as an adult now, she's just as social and delightful as ever. So I'd say patience is the best advice. But don't forget, even if your daughter doesn't want to share everything, it's important to ask questions, to keep trying. What kind of music does she like? Is she happy at school? Is she a changeling? Has a faceless old woman been building effigies of her enemies? If not, who made all those effigies? Is that human hair? Stuff like that. Give it a go, Jim R. Next question. Hey there, Cecil. I just got back into the dating scene. An ironic, tragic twist of fate and an obliterated alternate universe kind of dampened my romantic inclinations for a few years. But now I'm seeing someone again, and she's really wonderful. Isn't that great? Signed, Nazar A. Yes, Nazar A. That's great. Next question. Hey there, Cecil. I just got a new job this year, and my coworkers almost never speak to me. I don't even know their names. In fact, I'm not entirely sure what it is we do all day. I know we drive around in trucks and pick up crates and take them to the desert. I know we sometimes bury the crates, but we're not allowed to ask questions, and that's fine, except I'd like to get to know my coworkers better. Can you suggest any non-verbal ways of making friends in a corporate environment? Signed, Steve C. Well, this is an easy one, Steve C. Podcasts are perfect for long road trips when you want human companionship without having to deal with the messiness of actual conversation. I'd recommend If Books Could Kill, which is a deep dive into the age-old question, should we ban books? Or The Dollop, which is a chat show about pudding. I'm getting word that there seems to be a problem with the new roller coaster. Witnesses at Hysteria Land said they heard the clack, clack, clack of the coaster
remembering
climbing the
this as I
hill,
hear it, but,
when
like,
it stopped, they expected to see the cars rushing down the slope. But nothing. The crest is so high, they can't quite see what happened. Some people think the cars jumped the track and then ascended into heaven. Other people said heaven isn't real, while other people said heaven is definitely real, but it's not in the sky, it's in our minds. While still other people said that the Mesopotamians believed that there were several domes that covered a flat earth, and that's the root of Christianity's celestial conception of heaven. And others thought maybe the roller coaster just got stuck. Though, there is a fringe theory that the roller coaster never even left, that we all imagined it, but it didn't actually happen. Then someone used their camera's zoom lens to confirm the "it's just stuck" theory. Listeners, this is terrifying. I can't imagine being that high up on a moving roller coaster, let alone stalled 300 stories high and not knowing how or if you'll ever get down. I'll keep reporting as more information comes. Let's have a look now at finance. Pictures are down 8% to 923 words, while the bird in the hand market is bullish, trading at nearly 4 birds in the bush. It's a marvelous time to hold a bird with your hands, say bird-touching experts. Due to inflation, your input, once available for the astoundingly low rate of 2 cents, and your thoughts, once available for the even lower rate of 1 penny, are now each going for $15. A good way to make a little money is to sell off those ideas to anyone who will listen. Jump into any conversation, really, and let them know your takes on art, health, parenting, politics. $15. It's an opinion haver's market. This has been Finance. Chief Operating Officer of Hysteria Land, Kenny Shea, said there's no problem with the roller coaster. No one is stuck. It's just how it was designed. Clickety, clickety, stop. That's what roller coasters do, Kenny said through an electric bullhorn from atop his fully extended cherry picker to the panicked crowd of witnesses below. I mean, isn't thinking you're stuck actually scarier than moving? Kenny added. You want fun? You can't handle the fun, he concluded, and then started doing the viral TikTok dance to Texas Hold'em. Woo! The city council called on the sheriff's secret police to send rescue helicopters to the top of the new roller coaster. But the secret police said they couldn't do that because they loaned all the helicopters out to some friends who were going to a wedding in Flagstaff this weekend. Also, the Hysteria Land grand opening fireworks spectacular planned for later this evening got moved up because of a nasty storm that was forecast for our area. So the fireworks are now exploding all around the terrified riders stuck at the top of the disassociator. And COO Kenny Shea is shouting, "We called it that for a reason," into his bullhorn. And now he's throwing packs of candy cigarettes into the crowd below and exclaiming, "Nostalgia is a carcinogen." Listeners, it's a terrifying moment for those trapped on that ride, and it's about to get even worse. That storm forecast for today, well, it's upon us right now. Let's have a look at the weather.
mind subservience. You're stuck on a line, you're stuck on a line that shouldn't move. You're deep in the wine, you're deep in the wine. Just add some more, you're crossing the line, I'm crossing the line. Just digging deeper, what's in your mind, or what's in your mind? It's all momentum, dragging me down, I'm dragging me down. Oh, I'm not going down with you now, I'm down with you now.
Starting or growing your own business can be intimidating and lonely at times. Your to-do list may feel endless with new tasks, and lists can easily begin to overrun your life. So finding the right tool that not only your brand style, and you can tackle all the platform is hosting the tool to reach customers for your $1 per month. That's Shopify.
Use them your way to take dollars off groceries at checkout with low prices on fresh quality. Redeem your points online or
Adventure roller coaster designer Journey Brown Saintel heard the news about the stuck riders on the Disassociator and leapt into action. She's never studied engineering, but she does have an ad-free YouTube account where she spent a few hours today watching ride hackers and funfluencers expound on roller coaster repair. Journey's crash course in ride maintenance brought her to an epiphany. If they screwed up inches for feet in the design of the hill, then they might have put the wrong sized gears in place. Journey said to her roommate, Chris, who is a 15-year-old miniature poodle. Chris barked in agreement that it was time for dinner. Journey fed Chris and raced down Route 800 to Hysterialand, stopping only once at Lowe's to buy a standard replacement gear for a roller coaster chain lift. At the theme park, she found COO Kenny Shea and said, "We just need to replace the gear, and then they'll be safe." Kenny nodded and said, "Ladder's right over there." He pointed through the pouring rain to a narrow metal ladder. In a cost-cutting measure, Hysterialand only hired mechanics through the TaskRabbit app, and no one was available that day, so Journey found herself 20 feet up the ladder. Then 100. Then 1,000. Every rung in the pouring rain, she increased her concentration on traction and grip. She's never been afraid of heights, but she'd never been more than 2 stories off the ground before now. And here she was, nearing 3,000 feet in the air, her shoulders and calves quaking and burning. As she reached the peak, she told the riders she was here to repair the gears and get them on their way safely. They said in unison, "Cool, cool," but none of them looked cool. They looked like people who were not present in their own realities. But as Journey went to remove the incorrectly sized part, she realized she left her tool bag down by concessions. She cursed loudly, and the riders all nodded and said, "Yes, yes, of course," in unison. She timidly asked if anyone had a screwdriver on them. No one did. But one young man with a leather jacket, greased hair, and a white V-neck undershirt drew his switchblade and said, "Mamma mia!" Journey was delighted because she had studied Italian in undergrad and knew exactly what he meant. She used his knife to remove the gear and secure the new one in place. Then, with a loud click, 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 the roller coaster crested the hill and soared down the track with breathtaking speed, through the loop-de-loops, around the bendy dip, up and over the twisto-changeo, and finally coming to a rest in front of thousands of relieved theme park attendees. The skies cleared, and Journey Brown Saintel, proud of what she had accomplished that day, heck, proud of everything she had ever accomplished, looked down at the 3,000 feet of metal rungs she'd have to descend, and sighed. Then she heard a loud buzz, which became a roar. Only a few feet from her was a helicopter with the logo of the sheriff's secret police, a gold star that says "Definitely not a cop" across it. Inside the helicopter were a bunch of people in formal dress asking her if she knew where Flagstaff, Arizona was. Journey said, "Sure do. Hop in and show us the way," they said. And she did. I hope Journey is enjoying an open bar and an electric slide tonight at that reception. Stay tuned next for screams of either fright or delight, or both.
I have a full plate of
Good night,
cookies and
Night
fruit
Vale.
over here that I have not been eating.
Night.
I made the tea and further delayed stream just to make tea to have the cookies with. And I forgot about the cookies. I do have them. I will get to them. In like, what, another 20 minutes or something?
Welcome to Night Vale is a production of
15
Night Vale
minutes?
Presents. It is written by Joseph Fink, Jeffrey Craner, and Bree Williams, and produced by Disparition. The voice of Night Vale is Cecil Baldwin. Original music by Disparition. All of it can be found at disparition.bandcamp.com. This episode's weather is What You Want From Me by Petrichor Limited. Find out more at the link in our show notes. Comments, questions, email us at info@welcometonightvale.com, or follow us on Blue Sky at Night Vale Radio, or on Instagram, Tumblr, and TikTok at Night Vale Official. Or sip this blue potion. What does it do? Not important. Don't you trust me? But mainly check out welcometonightvale.com, where we have a twice-monthly mailing list that is the best way to keep up to date directly from us to you. Shake hands with us through the internet. Today's proverb: if you repeat Bloody Mary 5 times in the mirror, you will be asked to leave the mirror store.
Hey, what you doing? Are you...
Hello, Night Vale. It is me.
Insurance isn't one-size tool. You tell them when shopping and find coverage.
There are a lot of differences. Blood is redder than water. Blood is messier and stickier and gorier than water. There are a lot of differences, really. Welcome to Night Vale.
Oh. For some reason I thought we all knew about Night Vale. Night Vale is just a podcast. It's about a radio show for a town that does not exist except in whatever dimension Night Vale exists in. And it's a very strange town. It's like, I guess so, yeah. It's like if everything that happened in, like, Gravity Falls and the Twilight Zone happened in, like, one town, but also there's multiple realities of that town. Anyway, it's like, it's a podcast and it's really good and I like it a lot. Mimikyu and Scraggly? That's cute. I'm definitely gonna forget that. You know I'm gonna forget that. You can link it. You can just link it to the Discord, or you can send it to me directly or something like that, and I'll check it out. That's okay. Yeah.
Spring is almost here.
A radio show.
It's hard to say exactly when. Usually
Broadcast
we
podcast.
make predictions based on what the groundhog sees in February. If he sees a wavering image of a cloaked woman with a scimitar floating on the horizon, then there are 6 more weeks of winter. If he sees a pigeon eating a pile of millet spread across the train tracks, spring is just around the corner. This year, unfortunately, the groundhog did not make an appearance. After years of bachelorhood, it seems he's found a mate and they've been in a deep hibernation state together since September. So the seasonal forecast is anyone's guess. Could be tomorrow, could be months from now. But I've got a good feeling that the days of making sand angels and sand men out in the scrublands are coming to a close. And the days of sand tubing and sand surfing at Ash Beach are in our very near future. In anticipation of spring, I decided to take a little trip out to the Night Vale Botanic Gardens to see what's starting to bloom. It was a clear,
Very funny that she only won a
cloudless
race
day.
like after
I went
retirement.
alone. The sign out front said closed to the public, like always. But the gate was easily opened with a lockpick, which means come on in. Once I started down the path, I was surrounded by bees. I didn't see any bees, but the air was filled with a vibrating hum that sounded pretty pollen-thirsty to me, if you know what I mean. I walked until I found myself in front of another gate that was marked with a skull and crossbones inside of a circle with a slash through it, which clearly means don't enter, which is double negative, meaning enter. And then I was looking out on a field of 6-foot-long pink blooms. Not blooms, exactly, but whatever happens before a bloom. Buds? They looked like large, fleshy cocoons writhing gently in the dirt. They'll be so beautiful when they blossom, I thought. Then I noticed one near me had already started to open, and so I went over for a closer look. And I saw, well, more on that after the headlines. In sports, the first minor league game of the season is kicking off on Monday night, with the Night Vale Spider-Wolves playing longtime rivals, the Desert Bluffs, whatever.
Blood is thicker than water. Blood is redder than water. Blood is much more disturbing to see spilled across Mesa Avenue than water, especially when it's your own. Welcome to Night Vale.
Haven't heard you in a long time. Oh, well, that's nice. Let them run around, see how well they're doing.
I'm your host, Leonard Burton. And my top story, I've been dead for a long time. I was hit by a cargo truck in front of the radio station over 40 years ago. I've come to terms with that now. It's fine. The important thing is that I'm back on the air, once again, as the host of Night Vale Community Radio. Well, some version of it anyway. I know these aren't actual radio waves that I'm broadcasting on. Any veteran broadcaster can tell the difference by the way their voice feels when it bounces off different frequencies in the atmosphere. It's definitely some other kind of wave, one I've never felt before. And I'll admit, I don't know how I got here or where I am exactly. But I was told I could have my old show back and that I could say whatever I wanted as long as I made sure to read a few specific pieces of copy, word for word, at regular intervals. More on that later. I am pure consciousness now. I have seen infinity. More on that later. First, the television listings. On The Muppet Show, guest star Lee Marvin joins the Muppets in their own version of the classic Grand Guignol play, Le Laboratoire des Hallucinations, in which a doctor performs zombie-inducing brain surgery on his wife's lover, starring Bunsen Honeydew as the doctor, Rizzo the Rat as the adulterer, and Camilla Chicken as the wife. On Nightline, President John F. Kennedy publicly addresses the scandals marring his fifth term in the White House. On Wild Kingdom, the Columbia River salmon faces many obstacles on its journey to spawn, including increased gas prices, the rising cost of living, and a plummeting stock market. And on the Wednesday night movie, Jack Lemmon accidentally joins the Doomsday Cult and becomes comically entangled. Now back to our top story. I am dead. Well, what I've realized is the part of me that was briefly alive is now dead, but the part of me that never existed still doesn't exist and is the same as it's always been. Basically, everything is back to status quo for me, your host, Leonard Burton. Or it was until I got my job back. Well, the lines have blurred once again. I remember the feeling of being awoken from a deep sleep. I remember seeing a circular insignia that looked like a labyrinth. I remember being surrounded by the color pink. A vaguely familiar man, a man who was not short, handed me a microphone and a set of words on a piece of paper. The man and the microphone and the paper were not physical objects, of course, but the ideas of them. I remember saying the word no, but having it change shape in the air and become the words, yes, of course. I am a broadcaster. It is who I am and what I will always be for eternity. Now, the headlines.
Now, back to my trip to the Botanic Gardens. I leaned in for a closer look at the opening flower tendril peeking out from its 6-foot-long pink pulsating sac. And inside the cocoon, I saw a face. It was the face of a man whose eyes were closed, whose skin was shiny with translucent goo, and who was wearing a blue suit. And listeners, I knew that face and that suit. It was my old mentor, former Night Vale community radio host, Leonard Burton. That can't be, I thought to myself. Leonard has been dead for decades. I saw him get hit by a truck on Mesa Avenue. I saw it speeding around the corner, and I saw the labyrinth insignia on its driver's side door, and I saw it strike his body with incredible force. And okay, maybe I still haven't fully processed that experience. Sure, maybe it still feels like a moment of detached reality that happened to someone else, and I literally never, ever think about it to the point that I barely remember it even happened. But I also know that I did see it, and I know that Leonard is dead and buried out at Rattlesnake Rest Cemetery. And then I thought, wait, is he buried at Rattlesnake Rest Cemetery? Come to think of it, I don't remember there ever being a funeral for him, or a memorial of any kind, or an obituary even. And I've never seen a headstone for him, even though I take all my lunch breaks at the cemetery and know all the tombs pretty darn well by now. Where did Leonard's body end up? And as I was thinking about all of this, and staring at what appeared to be the face of my dead mentor inside a sticky pink bloom. A man, who was not short, emerged from the path behind me. "Let's talk," he said. More on that after the Children's Fun Fact Science.
Now for the Children's Fun Fact Science Corner. Death is one of life's biggest mysteries. What happens when we die? Is dying scary? Does life have meaning? I know the answers to all of those questions now, of course. Spoiler, death isn't profound. It's anticlimactic and a bummer at best. For example, the last thing I saw was my own teeth scattered across the pavement, and the last thing I felt was ashamed that I had been such a bad custodian of my own teeth, and that I hadn't held on to them better. And then I saw a ring-tailed cat on the side of the road, lapping up a pool of my blood, which may or may not have been a hallucination, but probably was. And then I died. And that was it. It was a disappointment, to be honest. Birth is where the real drama is, but no one cares about that because everyone's done it already and no one remembers it. We come screaming into the world with nearly infinite alternate realities opening up in front of us at light speed, and we go out mumbling and hallucinating animals until we fall into a dreamless sleep. But if you do still want those original answers, they are, in order, not much, kinda, and kinda. This has been the Children's Fun...
And having said all that, this has been the Children's Fun Fact Science Corner. Wow! Who knew the burrowing owl had such complicated religious rituals? Now, back to my experience at the Botanic Gardens. A man, who was not short, stepped out from the bushes and placed a hand on my shoulder. It felt like ice. "Maybe we should sit down," he said. We sat together on a stone bench overlooking the field. "What kinds of flowers are these?" I asked him. "Geraniums," he said, looking me in the eyes. "I think I recognize that one," I said, nodding toward the bloom containing the well-preserved corpse of my dead mentor. "Of course," the man said, also nodding. "Geraniums are common flowers. They will seem familiar to you." I looked again and saw that the flower had blossomed while we'd been talking. There were endless clusters of bright pink petals with red streaks, clinging to vines of vibrant green. "Ah, I see now that it is a geranium," I said. "Yes," the man agreed, "very common. Let me show you the way out." Listeners, even though it had only been an ordinary geranium, and I clearly did not see the corpse of Leonard Burton inside a fleshy pink cocoon, it got me thinking, why don't we ever talk about him? Why did we all seem to forget about him the moment he died? To me, he's one of the most influential citizens who's ever lived in Night Vale. And so, I've come to an important decision. More on that after a word from our sponsors. You are walking down a long hallway. The carpeting is dark and musty. The pattern on the wallpaper moves as if it's alive. You continue to
word
walk.
from our sponsors. White Horse, Sharp Needle, Slow Dance, New Book, Blue Boy, Quiet Evening, Fast Bird, Sweet Taste. I don't know what any of that means.
After seeing a bunch of creepy stuff, you enter an empty, cavernous room with a dining table set for 12. You sit down. No one else has arrived.
But I was told to read these sets of words at certain times. I hope whoever needs to hear them hears them. I hope they understand what it's supposed to mean. I hope it isn't anything questionable that I would regret being involved in. But I really do like having my show back. Oh, I missed a few on account of being...
You wonder, not without dread, who else is coming. In a crystal glass in front of you, a beverage. It's bubbly and pale yellow in color. As if compelled by another force, your hand reaches out for it and brings it to your lips. It's more than seltzer. Proudly made with only real squeezed fruit, never from concentrate. Bold, authentic, Spindrift. This has been a word from our sponsors. I'm dying to tell you about my decision regarding the memory of Leonard Burton. But first...
Screaming voices, ancient languages, venomous animals, dark skies, red rivers, new gods, bad weather.
The weather.
Starting or growing your own business can be intimidating and lonely at times. Your to-do list may feel endless with new tasks, and lists can easily begin to overrun your... Haven't heard about your brand? Trial today at
Brought to you by Accenture. When you're simplify campaign delivery and access...
Leonard Burton was more to me than just the person who gave me my start in broadcasting and guided me down my chosen career path. He was a person who believed in me. And as a kid who grew up without a father figure and always in trouble at school, that meant a lot. It showed me that I was capable of things, that I could even be good at things. It made me believe in myself. And belief in yourself, I've come to learn, is the most important weapon we have against simply disappearing into the ether. He was also more to this town than just the voice who gave us the headlines. He DJ'd at the roller rink for Gregorian Chant Night. He was an amateur aircraft maintenance technician with Delta. He played a serial killer in a national commercial for bathroom cleanser. He loved Boston cream pies and paintings of snakes. Oh, and he once saved old woman Josie's Buick Skylark from crashing into the credit union when she left it parked in neutral. He was a great man, and he has gone underappreciated long enough. That changes now. Listeners, I won't keep you in suspense any longer. I've invested my own funds, applied for a permit, hired a contractor, and in exactly 1 month's time, the City Council and I will be unveiling the Leonard Burton Memorial Drinking Fountain in Mission Grove Park. It will have filtered refrigerated water and a bronze plaque. It will feature a laser-etched portrait of Leonard and his famous quote, "Please organize the supply closet, Cecil." Besides chilled water, it will have several other buttons, including one for hot water, one for cola, and one for hot cola. And it will be available for all you thirsty joggers and passers-by just in time for spring. It should be spring then, right? Still waiting for that groundhog to let us know, but really don't want to interrupt whatever he's got going on down there. Up next, stay tuned for...
That's it for me today. On a personal note, I just want to say that I'm happy to be back on the air, whatever type of air this is, and whatever audience is hearing it, and whatever it means. Until next time, see ya, Night Vale.
Good night, Night Vale.
See ya.
Good night.
Welcome to Night Vale is a production of Night Vale Presents. It is written by Joseph Fink, Jeffrey Craner, and Bree Williams, and produced by Disparition. The voice of Leonard Burton was James Urbaniak. The voice of Night Vale is Cecil Baldwin. Original music by Disparition. All of it can be found at disparition.bandcamp.com. This episode's weather was Sheila by Worrystone. Find out more at the link in our show notes. Comments, questions, email us at info@welcometonightvale.com or follow us on Blue Sky at Night Vale Radio or on Instagram, Tumblr, and TikTok at Night Vale Official. Or say cheese. I wasn't taking your photo, but maybe someone else was. But mainly, check out welcometonightvale.com, where we have a twice-monthly mailing list that is the best way to keep up to date directly from us to you. We love you and care about you, and we just want to hear from you sometimes. Today's proverb: a bird in the hand is worth who cares. Put that bird down. Have you not heard about the bird flu?
Oh, the secret police are always watching.
Summer is here, and Smith's is your destination for hot savings.
Shut up. It would make sense that that was the one I was on, and I did the download thing, so I would remember that's what I was on. I didn't remember it. Good night. Gotta make sure I have some alarms set for tomorrow. Gotta give a friend a ride to a medical appointment. And you'll probably end up learning some Japanese just through, like, immersion. And just, like, a little bit, you'll get some vague contexts. You have a little claw game minigame, that's cute. No? Drop my stylus. Okay, there it is. Let's with this just a little bit more. I do gotta sign off here in a sec. little cartoony, but not like still stylized, fitting, like proper. Okay, reference of harp. I want the harp to look like an angel wing, so I'm gonna make like a note of that and then work on that later. Because the screen's kinda getting to my head. Okay. Signing off for now, Pistachio showing up right on cue to stare at me with her big sad shiny eyes. Remind me that she's starving. Okay. Yeah, I freaking hope I can. I'm having some weird sleep issues. I don't know what's up with them. But I think I'm having more of a problem waking up than I am falling asleep, which is very annoying. Anyway. I got stuff to do tomorrow, so I gotta go to bed. Snakes and anyone still hanging out. Do a stretch and check your posture, and I say this right. Save your progress, and drink of water, and pet your cat. And get the good sleepy times. Good night.